I heard from a lot of you that you wanted to know how Tracy and I had made the Faux Granite countertops last weekend. So for the next surface that we're going to do, we thought we'd make a video to show you. First thing you do to your surface is you need to degrease it, make sure it's perfectly clean. And then before we add the primer, you need to sand it. Now what I like to use is an orbital sander. And I've got a 40 grit disc for that sander. And as so. Now you want to do this until it's roughed up a little bit. Depending on the laminate that you have, it won't take too much of it off, because our laminate anyway is very tough. So I'll do it until it's rough enough that it'll hold the primer. I will clean this off really well with denatured alcohol, and then I'll be right back to apply the primer. Okay, now we're going to apply the primer. I got Bullseye 123 primer. This is for all surfaces. Kills is another one that you can use. You pretty much want it to be able to block stains that you might have on your Formica. The primer, really what it's going to do is just prepare the surface for the countertop paint from Rust-Oleum. So what I use is a high density foam roller, little pad, $5 at Home Depot, and then a little brush to cut it in. And I will be doing 3 coats of primer, and you're supposed to let it dry for 2 hours, and then you have to put your other coat on. You're not supposed to let it dry all the way, just 2 hours, and you put your next coat on. So obviously we have prepped and protected the surrounding area, so my sloppiness won't make a mess. And it just rolls on as so. Nothing special, nothing fancy. You just want to get good even coating, and you want to go all the way around and on the front as well, but you'll want to do that. Okay, I'm going to get this and the next couple of coats done, and then I'll come back. I've put 3 coats of primer on the countertop, and it's time to actually put the countertop paint. It's Rust-Oleum countertop coating. You can choose different colors to have mixed in and tinted in, and we chose the pewter because with the colors of paint that we're using, it complements everything. So first thing you're going to do, of course, which I don't have to tell you how to paint, I'm sure you all know, is you need to cut in the corners and the edges with the paint. Of course, after you do that, come with the roller, another high density foam roller, and you'll roll in the rest of it. We'll put 2 coats of this on, letting it dry 2 hours in between coats. With this Rust-Oleum stuff, you actually, if you don't do the second coat within 2 hours, you are supposed to wait 24 hours before you put another coat on. So you definitely want to make sure it gets done within 2 hours. I don't know why, I don't know what happens if you don't, but the instructions are very clear on that. So I'm going to get this done, and we'll come back to when I get to the next step. All right, we've got our 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum counter paint on. It's dry. It's ready for the next part. Now, what you need to do is choose the colors that you want. We chose our main color to be an almond from Rust-Oleum, our dark brown, green, forest green, and a burgundy, and then a black. As you can see, they're all in our countertop. All these colors, the green, the red. Okay, so what you need to do is purchase sponge rollers. I bought one big sponge roller and cut it in half, and bought the short spinner things. Okay, now first thing we're going to do is the almond. Okay, you want to, the whole idea here is to have randomness, because randomness looks like granite. So we just make it random. Thing is, there's really no way to do it wrong. Okay, we've done the almond color, and now we're going to do a dark brown and use a different roller. And you don't want to wait till it dries. You want to do it right over the top so it makes them blend together and mix together. The goal is randomness. Need a little more paint. Okay, the first two colors have been put on, and it doesn't look good. It never does, but it'll work out in the end. In the corners, what I did was I took the dark color and I used a sponge, a sea sponge, and just put it in the corners. Take a step back, go over and look, just like that. And it doesn't look like that yet, but it's getting there. Right. Okay, now that the first layer is dried, we're going to take our coordinating colors, which are, for me anyway, was Hoosier Dark Green, which is kind of like a forest green. And I put that on. I put on, what is the name of this? This is fresh or French wine. Put that on, kind of over by it. Then I take the brown and I put it right next to it. So what I'm going to do is take my sponge, and I'm going to get all three colors on the sponge. I'm going to start applying around the countertop. Try to do it random. And just do the whole countertop. Makes it not look good. First time I did this, I was concerned that it did not look good. You want to turn the sponge so that the same thing isn't going down all the time. Okay, and add some more color. Okay, now for the final step, we are going to go back to the original color that we used, which is the main color that we want to come out. We're going to go over the top here, trying to keep it random. Then we're going to do the brown color for us anyway. Again, go over the top of the yellow. Brown. Okay, now for the final step, we are going to go back to the original color that we used, which is the main color that we want to come out. We're going to go over the top here, trying to keep it random. Then we're going to do the brown color for us anyway. Again, go over the top of the yellow. Brown. Okay, this is the final coat of paint. Faux marble. Whoops, faux granite. And someone told me that faux is a French word for fake, but I don't know if that's true. After this dries, we'll start with the clear coat. After you paint your surface and get it the way you like it, you need to put a clear coat on it. You could use polyurethane, you could use polyacrylic. I would highly suggest getting something called glaze coat. It's an epoxy that self-levels over the surface and creates a nice thick protective surface. You could, if you could think about some of the bars you may have been to where they have maybe silver dollars inside of a clear coat on the bar, that's exactly what this stuff is. And the box that I have here does 9 square foot, and this is 9.2 square feet, so that worked out really nice. You mix your epoxy and your hardener together, and in a moment I'll show you what you do after you mix them up. Okay, after you've thoroughly stirred the epoxy, you're going to pour it on your countertop. Now, we've got our countertop completely wrapped in plastic, and we've got protection on the floor because this epoxy is going to run right over the side. It's going to be scary to do it, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. So, if you'll take that, and here we go. Supposed to spread it in an S pattern. Spread it evenly. There you go. And now we just spread it and work it to the sides. It's self-leveling, so we don't have to worry about the brush marks. They're going to go away. Get it up to the edges. Don't worry about going over because you were smart and protected everything. After you spread the epoxy down, you'll see a bunch of little bubbles that have formed, and you need to get those out, otherwise they'll stay there forever. So the best way to do that is with a torch. $20 plumber's torch, and you move it along the top, and it's kind of cool, the bubbles just disappear. Scare you? And here's the final product. That clear coat gives it a real nice gloss finish. You can see the reflection in it. It is dry. It's supposed to cure for 72 hours before regular use, but the end result is beautiful. Thanks for watching.